What up, team? Welcome back. Oh, hang on. There's a big smudgy finger on there, which will get really annoying for you. We're in the box because this one over here, he's ran away now because he knows he's in the doghouse. He had my memory card. So I turned the camera on this morning to start vlogging and it didn't have a memory card. So blame that one. Yeah, he's walking away. He's like, what am I doing today? So John has actually started, same with me actually, I've just started a new program with the athlete program. Mike Catras has started programming me personally just because I thought I'm going to take it a little bit more seriously, get a little bit more accountability for especially when the little one arrives. If I've got someone else that I have to tell that I haven't been doing my training or something like that, it just holds me a little bit better rather than going, do I train today or am I too tired? I'm too tired, I'm not going to bother. And John has done exactly the same. So super sexy Gus, who works at WIT, has started programming John as well. How's the program, John?
My bum is sore. Wow. It's good because at the moment it's not that much fitness, which is good. And I just...
You probably start to finish about 6 weeks out from the Open, really.
No, there's we're looking at Open next October actually. Yeah. But just so many stuff. I'm weak in a lot of little places that get me injured and stuff like that, my knees. So a lot of the stuff is just building up that base strength. And technically, I'm not the best, but I'm more technically sorted than I am strong, if that makes sense. So if I put strength with that technique, I'll be able to lift a lot more than what I can.
The complete opposite. Right, so I'm going to show you a little bit of insight into some of our workouts today. But first of all, we've got to do some partner workouts for our Instagram. If you haven't seen them, head over to our Instagram, TheLeanMachines Official, because there's some super cool, proper synchro goals going on right now. Oh nice, where did that come from?
One of our followers on Instagram, David Legend, got me and Leon baby dump barbells probably.
Carly now wants the kettlebell as well.
If it can't snatch that by 2 months old,
it's going back.
Well, yeah, we're going to have fallout. Rose said, someone was asking me the other day about letting kids win, and I went, my child will never beat me at anything until it can, and then it knows that it's earned it, and on that day it can move out.
So Tuesday, first up for me, I got my whole week written down. I've got strict 5x5 overhead press, 47.5, which I was like, he's going easy on me. And then I realized it's a 4x1 tempo. So it's going to be fast power up and super slow eccentric loading, which is going to be spicy.
I can confirm, we're idiots. It's not a good idea to load a bar up, put both of you on it. Leon's a little bit shorter, so stick him on a 20 kilo plate and see if you can clean and jerk the bar. I took a chunk out of my tongue when Leon pressed it and I got it wrong and it hit me in the chin. He took one in the chin and got a fat lip. I'm sure it'll be on Instagram at some point, one of our challenges, but it won't be one to try at home, because
just wear a gum shield.
Can taste so much blood, it's rank.
The hardest part with tempo work is being strict enough to slow the bar down on the way down. Also, just remember, if you're doing it specifically with shoulder press, keep your glutes tight, because when you're trying to control the bar down really slow, you're going to spend all of your time thinking bar slow, and you're just hyperextending through the back really easily. So think really tight glutes, push away with the bar as much as you can. Be strict. Now, I've got a 15-minute EMOM. Minute 1 is beat swings with knee sleeves between my feet to get tighter on my beats. Then I've got 3 10-second headstand holds, which is going to be interesting, working on weight distribution between the hands and feet, which is going to transfer over to my handstand push-up progressions. 3 10 candlestick roll-ups with a 9 kg ball. You'll get to see what they are. They're pretty hard. I don't do them very often. Minute 4 is rest. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 5 rounds, but minute 4 is rest. I've got to do 15 minutes, so yeah, it's going to be like 4 rounds of everything. God, that took a while. Let's go. Side note, we get asked about hands tearing and wraps and stuff all the time. One thing I'm going to say, doesn't matter what wraps you buy or what hand protection you use, as some point you will rip your hands doing certain things. Like for me, if I do big sets of bar muscle ups, they will always rip. If I try to do chest to bar pull ups, they'll always rip. So just remember, it's a case of constant care. You will get little tears. Like I've got a little tear, you can't even see it, it's so depressing. At the moment, you get little bits. Just make sure that you cut your callus off, file them down. I use one of the Cali King things or the Cali Kid things. I also use a callus blade where I cut them off every week or so, just because if they start to build up, they're more likely to pull and rip away, and then also you get the blisters underneath. But I use two things, pixel grips. There's 2-hole ones and 3-hole ones. John's got bigger hands than me, so he uses the 3-hole one. It just covers more of the palm. I absolutely rate these, and also another thing that I always use as well is Wad and Done thumb wraps. You'll see they're yellow and they say Wad and Done on them. You can get a lot of normal K-tape, but the thing that I find with those specifically, they're cut perfectly width-wise, and when you stretch and pull, they actually really hold quite nicely, whereas like the K-tape, sometimes you can pull it and stretch it and tie it down, but then as the session starts to come off, it starts to move a little bit away, so they're definitely worth having a look at. So now we're gonna get straight into this EMOM, give you a little fancy like montage or something, and then we can just get going. So I've got one more round with this EMOM, and it's really interesting. This is why it's good to be coached sometimes, because every time I have an EMOM set up, I do it myself, it's always really hard. Because this is all about positional work, here comes John, it's a lot different. So I was literally, what, 12 minutes in, and I'm not out of breath yet. So yeah, different way. Did it well, sexy. Definitely would, 100%.
Bit my tongue so bad.
Next up, I've got some test AMRAPs. So we've got AMRAP unbroken ring rows for as many reps as I can get, then a 60-second break when I fail, straight into unbroken strict press ups, fail, and then unbroken hollow tuck holds. I've just read the last part of my workout today, and not that keen, I've got to be honest. 15-minute AMRAP, 400-meter run, 10 deadlifts at 80, 10 box over burpees at 24 inches. Then JC has gone back to the leisure centre. Doing some bro lifting. What you got on the bar? 510 kilos?
No, a shameful 70. Last set of 10.
Oh boy, and then you're doing flies as well. Who even is this guy?
It was all the overhead pressing, like.
Get your stringer out.
It's not that strong, is it? But yeah,
It's good. It's pretty. You look pretty white today.
White? That's because you fake tan for fun.
I do.
Like baby.
One hell of a mental grind today. So I'm going to have my lunch before I go home. What I've made is the chicken fajita mix. I use 200 grams of chicken, 2 large tomatoes, 6 mushrooms, and I don't know exactly how many green peas, but a load of peas. Nando's marinated, put it in the chicken all last night, marinated it all night. Just whacked it all in a wok this morning, 2 wraps. I've got 4 slices of saurine, and then a 100-gram mix of cashews and raisins, and a banana, and then also my protein shake. So I'm going to nosh this all down. Then we're going to go home, and then we're going to talk all about a back case subject. I'll see you there. Good old nectar. Oh, hang on. Nom 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 nom. Right, let's do this. State of my hair. Ooh. Right. What up people, we are back in the back cave. Excuse the hair, I've just had a shower because I was stanking after that workout, and I thought before I go into this subject, it was important to shower. So this subject, first of all, sorry a little bit about the clickbait. It was probably a little bit like, ooh, drama, let's find out. So you're as bad a human as I am, so please don't have a go at me about the clickbait title. But yes, we are talking steroids, and this is not just, oh, let's just talk about steroids, because it's not something that comes up every day. But if you didn't or haven't heard the podcast that we recently did with Ben Kuma on Ben Kuma Radio, we were up on the main stage with him at SFN Expo. Main stage, what fam, or what? And he interviewed us, and it was a really, really good chat. And there was a question that he asked that I reactively answered just because I was there and then. It caught me so off guard, this question, that I didn't, obviously it was not pre-rehearsed. And I was like, wow, okay, yeah, definitely not. And this question was, if we weren't in the industry that we're in now, or we didn't have as much knowledge as we do now, would me and John back in the day, would we have considered taking steroids if they were around as much as they are now and all that kind of stuff? And this question was like very quickly, well, morally, my morals are this and my attitude's that, blah, blah, blah. Probably I would like to have hoped that I wouldn't, right? And I wanted to actually open this up because I can guarantee there's a lot of guys and also a lot of girls who watch our content and look at other people's and absorb other content all the time. And you've probably questioned and been in that grey area of would I, wouldn't I, do I, don't I? And you know what? I'm not gonna bullshit anyone and pretend that I haven't ever thought about it. And the funny thing is that I've been thinking about it since I come back, and I can honestly say, hand on heart, if I wasn't as educated as I am now, and steroids were around as much as they are now back then when I was younger, I'm pretty sure that I would have taken steroids. Which is a scary thing to say because I'm so far removed from that right now, and I wouldn't bother and never want to. And first of all, actually, before we actually go any further, my standpoint on steroids is very much of this. I don't have a problem with people who take gear. It does not affect me in the slightest. I'm like, that person still has to work their backside off if they take gear. So if you take it, that is entirely up to you. Literally no problem. I will train with you in the gym, next to you, whatever. No problem whatsoever. The only time I have a problem with steroids is, as I've said before, when people are selling shit and saying that they're all natty bro and they're clearly assisted. That's the only problem I ever have had with steroids. Otherwise, not bothered. So, back to it. Yeah, left on a bit of a cliffhanger there. I probably would have done. And you know what? The reason why is because back then, I was more insecure and more, I didn't know myself. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted to be, where I wanted my training to go, my life to go, my relationships to go. And to sit there and say, no, I wouldn't have done because my morals would have been, my morals were shit back. I did not care. I was so selfish. I didn't care about people around me. I cared about earning money, getting pissed, chatting up women and having a laugh. That's all I really worried about back then. And I think the one thing that kind of stopped me really getting into that side of things and taking gear and all that kind of stuff is probably because I changed where I lived and my career and everything like that at a very poignant time. I was very insecure. I was the kid who, and very anxious. I used to be the kid that, I still have this moment where I remember I booked my driving test. And then I went to Boots and bought some Calms, like some anti-stress pills, because I got so anxious about having my driving test and worried about failing. And I even say to this day, one of the reasons I stopped boxing was not because I was bad at it or I didn't like getting beaten up. I loved boxing, I loved fighting. I'm happy enough to say that I just used to love getting in a scrap. But the anxiety that came with it, the fear of potentially losing a fight and what people would think and have I let people down, is one of the biggest reasons I stopped boxing, which is, it's horrible to think now, because I'm like, if I had the head on me that I've got now at 31 years old, back then, I would have been an absolute monster and would have gone a lot further in my career with it. But the point remains, bringing it back to the steroid side of things, I don't advocate and wouldn't want anyone watching this video to ever take steroids. You don't need to. Because if you're anything like I was, the reasons why I thought about it, the reasons why I think, looking back, I probably would have got into gear back then, were because I thought that changing my body, getting a little bit heavier, building a little bit more muscle, looking like the men's health cover models. I thought that was going to give me everything that I needed and wanted. My confidence, my ability to pull more women and talk to more women. My dream job, wearing a large shirt, was what it was all about. And you know what, if I can offer any wisdom to any youngsters watching this video, you won't value that stuff. You know, by no means am I not bothered by aesthetics. I still want to be in good shape. I really do. And I am happy to say that I'm vain and I want to look good with my top off and all that kind of jazz. I don't care. That's me, and I'm happy with that. But it doesn't define my happiness, you know, and I don't want anyone watching this video to think, oh, if I just do a couple of courses of gear, then I'll just come off and it'll be fine and I'll sort everything out. It won't. It never does end up like that. I've got so many friends who have lost all their hair, their fucking balls have never come back to the right shape, they've got gyno, they've got man titties and all that kind of stuff, and it aged them massively. And the amount of people that I know personally who have gone, I wanted to come off but I can't, and they're addicted to it now, or they've done it, they've come off and they're like, I wish I'd never done it, it fucked me up beyond all belief. But the simple point is, you're not weird and you're not strange if you're somebody who's passionate about your training, passionate about your performance and doing better and whatever, getting more out of it, for instance, right? You're not weird for having ever thought, should I, shouldn't I? That doesn't make you a bad person. Even if you took steroids, it wouldn't make you a bad person. I'm not going to look down on you because of that. But I just had this moment where you've noticed that me and John are getting not a little bit more deep, but we're just opening up a little bit more about our experience, because sometimes the best form of education is sharing your experience. And we talk a lot more about the way that we are now morally, the thought process that we go through. We break things down, the what's, the whys and the hows and everything like that. Fantastic. But there's subject matter that we've still got a very young audience in a lot of ways. You know, our audience ranges from 14-year-olds all the way up to 70-year-olds, which is a beautiful thing. And I remember when I was 16, 17, 18, walking into the gym and I just wanted to build some muscle, and Big Terry in the corner was juiced up to his eyeballs, and I was like, oh, I want to be like that. And there's only, it doesn't take long nowadays, even less so than when I was younger, to consider those kind of things. And I just want to put my 2 pence in and say, look, it won't bring you any long-term gain. Just remember, like, steroids will bring you one thing, which is recovery and adaptation. You'll be able to go in, you'll still have to work your backside off. It's irreversible. And trust me, if you're feeling quite insecure about yourself and about your body and you think something like that's going to fix, trust me, it won't. I've been there, I've thought about it, and I nearly, I was close to taking steroids when I was younger. And it's kind of, I didn't realize just how close until Ben actually asked that question. And I was like, oh shit, yeah, it was, I was very insecure back then. And I still have my insecurities, don't get me wrong. I still have my hang-ups about my body. There's still things I want to change, because that's one thing that I use as a beautiful tool to keep me motivated. But yeah, anyone else, if you've got, this is like an open conversation, like I say, anyone else who's been there, done it, even people who have taken steroids or who are taking steroids, I'm interested in your story. You're not a bad person for being there and doing that. I don't have issues with anyone on this channel who is assisted, isn't assisted, thinks about it. Ask honest questions and I will give honest responses. But yeah, I hope that helps. I hope you understand that we all have our insecurities and there's things that we want to work on. But I also hope that if this video just stops one person who's there thinking, ah, screw it, I'm just going to do it and I'm going to go on gear, and it gives you the ambition and the drive to just stick to the plan a little bit longer. Do a little bit more research, understand how long it actually takes to change and what you can get from your training. Are you training hard enough? Are you eating the right things? Come on, think, do everything optimally, and then you'll get the results that you want, and you'll understand that most of the insecurities had nothing to do with your training whatsoever. If you want to be coached, if you want some more help, and you think that me and John could be your coaches, email us, tlmonlinecoaching@gmail.com. We do online coaching. We might have a couple of spaces that we might be able to give to people. We're quite busy at the moment, naturally. Thank you very much to all our clients. If you just want to plan and you want something to follow to focus your mind a little bit more, we've got a TLM Lean for Life training plan, which is now out. The link is in the description box below. 12-week gym plan, 12-week home plan, 5 days a week training. There's benchmarks. There's so many different things you can just focus your mind on. But any questions, you don't have to put them on here. you want to talk about this further, you're a younger lad or a woman or an older lad or a woman, and you're thinking about that kind of stuff and you've worried about it, you don't want to share it publicly, absolutely fine. Feel free to DM us on Instagram and we will come back to you. Thanks so much. I'm gonna go because this coffee stopped steaming. Ain't good when your coffee stops steaming. Have an awesome day, guys, and we'll be back with another one. We're going to battle cancer later this week. It's gonna be fantastic. And yeah, thanks so much for your constant support, and see you soon.